Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu Date. Let's bring you the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
EcoBank,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
Coming up this evening, Gold Board CEO says he has asked the new majority leader to allow him to appear before Parliament to answer questions on Gold Board's operations as he denies claims of a 22 billion Ghana cedi loss.
Also coming up tonight, Ofankor road accident victims continue recovery as calls grow for support, better trauma care and stronger road safety measures.
And later in the bulletin, graduates with disabilities demand action on government's 5% public sector recruitment quota amid prolonged unemployment and financial hardship.
Later in business news, Chair of Parliament Select Committee on Finance calls for legal protection of public interest and accountability committee funding.
On the international front, President Bola Tinubu faces tough re-election battle as Nigerians weigh economic reforms against rising living costs and insecurity. It's a packed bulletin. We always love to hear from you, so do stay with us.
In our very first story, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Gold Board has challenged Minority Leader Alexander Apenyomarkin to invite him to Parliament to answer questions over claims that the institution incurred losses from its gold trading operations. Sami Jemfi, during the government accountability series, mounted a spirited defense of his stewardship, saying he's ready to appear before Parliament to prove that claims linking Gold Board to losses under the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program are unfounded.
There have been calls for an inquiry into the circumstances leading to the loss of some 1.7 billion US dollars under the domestic gold purchase program DDEP. Claims, counter-accusations and several interpretations have emerged from a report authored by the IMF on the economic financing of the country. The minority says it will not relent in its call for accountability. In a fierce rebuttal, Chief Executive Officer of the Gold Board, Sami Jemfi, says the IMF's report clearly identified the domestic gold purchase program as the source of the losses rather than the Gold Board.
I challenge Apenyomarkin to point to any page, paragraph, sentence, phrase, or punctuation mark in the said reference reports of the IMF where the Gold Board was accused by the IMF as the entity responsible for losses incurred by the Bank of Ghana. And that the 2025 loss of $1.7 billion was as a result of, I'm quoting the IMF verbatim, the scaling up of the domestic gold purchase program, not incompetence or mismanagement. According to the IMF, that loss was as a result of the scaling up, the expansion of the program.
He questioned the understanding of the MPP minority, urging the public to disregard what he describes as false claims.
You don't look at that and say, oh, that means Gold Board was doing something wrong. I can tell you that as we speak, the IMF and the Bank of Ghana are all engaging Gold Board that they still want to be our fiscal agents under the Gold Board model, where they will be raising money for us as an intermediary. It is the Gold Board that is rather saying, no, we will do it ourselves. So that claim is not.
The minority in its address hinted at a possible criminal inquiry into the activities of Gold Board. The CEO has called their bluff.
Apenyomarkin's continuing antics must therefore be seen for what they are: a desperate smear campaign by persons who have specialized in sophistry and political blackmail in pursuit of selfish ends. These are devious extortionists who will come at you with lies to tarnish your reputation, in the hope that you will fold and settle for what they call, quote, compulsory arbitration.
Sammy Jemfi, however, outlined prospects of the activities of Gold Board going forward.
I have, in all humility, reached out to the new majority leader in Parliament, Honorable James Agaga, and I've pleaded with him that even if Afenyo delays in extending this invitation, he should extend the invitation to me. And I'm ready to come tomorrow. You don't need any special motion. You don't need any special order by the speaker. Just get Public Accounts Committee to invite us and come and sit down there and come and demonstrate to the whole nation where the Gold Board made losses or how the Gold Board is to blame for losses made by another institution.
Still on the same subject matter, the minority in Parliament has maintained its demand for accountability over the reported 22 billion Ghana cedi loss under the domestic gold purchase program. This follows a response by the caucus to statements made by the Chief Executive Officer of Gold Board, Sammy Jemfi, during the Government Accountability Series on Wednesday, the 19th of August. The minority says the Gold Board CEO's response confirms rather than refutes the reported $1.7 billion loss identified by the International Monetary Fund under the program in 2025. According to the caucus, the issue is not which state institution carries the loss, but who should account for the use of public funds. The minority also challenged Gold Board's explanation of the fees it received from the program. It says the Gold Board accounted for about 133 billion Ghana cedis in advances in 2025 and received an assay fee of 0.258% and a service fee of 0.5%. The caucus argues that these figures suggest Gold Board earned about 1 billion Ghana cedis in fees from the program while reporting an operational surplus of 907 million Ghana cedis.
In more news tonight, some victims of the Ufankor Barrier multi-vehicle crash on August 13 are still recovering, with some making better progress than others. 12-year-old Angelina Na Adoko lost both legs and her father in the crash. Still battling pain and struggling to come to terms with her new reality, she is uncertain about what the future holds and is appealing for urgent support. Some viewers may find portions of this story disturbing. Viewer discretion is therefore advised.
Sorry. In excruciating pain at the Ga East Municipal Hospital, young Angelina has been calling for her father every day since the accident. She does not know that he did not survive the crash. Doctors say she is severely traumatized and is receiving psychological support alongside treatment for her physical injuries. According to her aunt, Sandra, Angelina had joined her ailing father on an early morning trip when the accident occurred.
Wednesday, no menene kasa ya no so ne ho mfa no ti e bo nkomo kakra yure so me frɛ ne ma ya kasa kakra nti anopa no me frɛ na bisa ne sɛ ne ho te sɛ ba me frɛ na ya mfa.
I spoke with him the day before. He said he wasn't well, so I called the next morning to check on him, but he wouldn't pick his phone. My younger brother then called and informed me of the accident and said my brother had passed on.
Sandra is appealing to government, corporate organizations and other well-meaning individuals to support Angelina's recovery and help her reintegrate into society and return to school when she is medically fit.
I am pleading with all organizations and philanthropists to assist with her medical bills, prosthetics, or a wheelchair, and her educational needs.
Orthopedic trauma surgeon Dr. Ariel Francisco Morihon Perez, who helped save Angelina's life, explains the extent of the injuries she sustained.
In the moment of the accident, the patient is coming from the traumatic amputation bilateral leg below knee. She lost the leg in the accident. She has another big injury in the right forearm, and she has a acetabulum fracture left and a forearm fracture in the left hand. What we do in the first time is try to control the bleeding from the amputation. We go into the theater and re-amputating and close the stump. But the wound is very dirty, and we need to cleaning well, debridement, and now in the condition actually, he have a small infection in part of the left leg.
For senior specialist and medical superintendent of the Gar East Municipal Hospital, Dr. Ayuba Abdullahi, the 12-year-old's case is particularly heartbreaking.
She had amputation of both limbs because already the distal part of the legs were all left in the crash scene. I don't know whether they have even recovered it. It happened that, unfortunately, the father of this girl was part of the people who died instantly. The story is sad, and the information we're getting that they were actually visiting the hospital place to see the mom who was in the morgue, and the father was not feeling well, so she was accompanying the dad. That's the story we have. And as we speak, the father is no more.
He is also appealing to government to resource community hospitals such as Gar East with the equipment and specialist services needed to manage major trauma cases and reduce the need for constant referrals.
One of the things that is hampering us may be the ability to attend to trauma cases. If, for instance, we have mobile X-ray machine, sometimes you are able to, on the spot, pick up the excesses of the injuries that the people have and at the emergency, then wheel into the imaging center, and all these things can impair the care. CM machine, for instance, for orthopedic surgeon to do advanced surgeries in theater and observing everything that's going, the level, the angle, the result things in theater, we don't have it.
Apart from Angelina, 3 other victims were brought to the Gar East Municipal Hospital. 2 have since been discharged after sustaining minor injuries. Another victim, Naomi Amidu, is stable and is expected to make a full recovery, but she too needs financial support to meet the cost of her treatment.
Metro, bedroom to toy now. Me catch a man so my woman now.
The government should help with my medical bills. I am in so much pain. Although medication helps, it is quite costly.
At the Achimota Hospital, 4 victims were also admitted. 2 have since been transferred to the Ridge Hospital, while the other 2 have been discharged. As the survivors continue to recover, calls are growing for stronger road safety enforcement and improved lighting along major highways to help prevent similar tragedies. Noura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
Still watching News 360 on TV3. Let's turn our attention to other stories. Now, the Roads and Highways Minister Kwame Govins Agboja has expressed anger over the slow pace of work on sections of the Tema-Aflao Road, criticizing contractor First Sky Construction for what he described as little progress over the past 4 months. He made the remark as he began a nationwide road inspection tour in the Greater Accra region aimed at assessing the progress of major road projects and identifying challenges affecting their completion. Christian Yali reports.
Most of these road projects fall under the big push and are expected to be completed between November and December 2027. The Roads and Highways Minister Govins Kwame Agboja toured selected projects within the Greater Accra region to assess the extent of work and progress made so far. Concerning the Lot 2 project, which is part of the Accra-Aflao project from the motorway extending all the way to the Central University area, the minister expressed dissatisfaction with the slow pace of work by First Sky Construction, indicating that for over 4 months, no substantial work has been done over the stretch.
This road is just about 17 kilometers. what we've been complaining about is that right from the beginning, I get the impression the contractors do not intend to do the work because I don't see any activity. We can't leave 4 months and come back. I can't see much work going on here.
The minister then visited a concrete bridge that is being constructed to link Dowenya and Afenya communities to Dodowa Road and expressed satisfaction with work done by Oswald Investment Limited.
Will you finish ahead of schedule? As promised, the president. Yeah, it will be done by December, Afenya. We can achieve it easily. So from Ashama Junction to Afenya Junction will be done before the end of the year. Ashama Junction is Dodowa Junction.
Well, this is the Adentan Dodowa Road. It is one problematic issue for motorists, as you see, because when it rains, it comes with issues. And when it is very sunny as well, the dust would be all over. The minister wants the contractor to work on one side of the road, one lane, open that to the motoring public while it works on the other aspects of the road.
So I can understand when people are worried about this. But the good thing is that there's good progress going on. As the contractor said, by the end of the year, at least one side will be completed and be open to traffic. So by Christmas, one lane will be finished, and it's good. The quality is also very well.
On the Accra-Tema motorway, the minister urged the contractor, Maripoma, to scale up its works in the night and lessen the day activities.
We will do our very possible best. And then it's also contingent on what you will do as a ministry for us.
Okay.
Release more money.
Yes. Release more money. So, as far as we are concerned, yes. President Mahama prioritizes this work.
Yes.
So, payment due on projects like this are never in doubt in terms of payment.
We currently don't have any delay in any project in any other region. We are actually ahead of our schedules. We believe in planning. We don't work to impress people.
Government has committed about 23 billion cedis into road projects across the country thus far. The minister has indicated that the NDC administration is committed to improving road infrastructure. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Accra.
To some other stories, and for years they've waited for an opportunity to put their education and skills to work. But for graduates with disabilities, unemployment has brought financial hardship, and they say it's made them dependent on their families. When the group picketed in front of the Jubilee House, their call was simple. They want action on government's promised 5% quota for persons with disabilities in public sector recruitment. Samuel Yebo Adams reports.
For Emmanuel Donko, the wait for a job has lasted for 3 years since completing school. He says the prolonged unemployment has not only frustrated his dreams, but has also left him and others like him depending on their families.
In our situation, we can't do anything after the school. So we have to depend on somebody to survive. And you see, when you depend on somebody for long, the person will be fed up of you. Sometimes you want to get even 1 CD to get something, to buy something, you will not get because you are not working. Sometimes you can stay in the house until evening before they will give you something to eat. It's stressful.
Emmanuel is not alone. Other members of the coalition of unemployed graduates with disabilities traveled from different parts of the country to Accra, bearing the cost of the journey to make what they describe as a desperate call for inclusion and employment.
I've filled forms, if I can count, I think the 5th one was this year. They will open the portal for youth for recruitment. You will fill the form online and nothing will come out of that. We've met ministers both, I think quite a number of times now, and yet it's like they don't seem to care about us.
Since I've completed, I've not gotten a job, I have nothing to do. At times, my needs are always a kind of challenge. At times when I want to buy soap or basic things for myself, I don't find it easy.
After an earlier petition was submitted without action, the coalition subsequently presented another petition to government, but the process was not without frustration. The group questioned the recipient of the petition, stressing that they would want a senior member of government to take the petition. Gilbert Amwa is the lead convener.
All that we want to see is that if for nothing at all, there is a concrete plan, a concrete action, which can be led by a senior-most government official ahead of maybe DOC, so that he can make certain important decisions. For example, if we meet the chief of staff, the chief of staff can give an instruction that financial clearance should be issued at least tomorrow. But as we speak now, DOC can only do an onward submission of our petition, and at the end of the day, it ends there.
Receiving the petition on behalf of government was Dr. Samuel Aye. He assured the group that their concerns will be conveyed to the appropriate authorities.
I must say that your issues are also part of major issues that government is addressing. I think that much attention ought to be paid to the fact that anybody that receives a petition on behalf of His Excellency the President has been delegated by the President. So whether the President is a chief of staff or the person is executive secretary or presidential staffer or a presidential aide, has the right to take a petition.
For these unemployed graduates, another promise is not enough. They want that they will continue to demand immediate steps towards implementing the 5% recruitment quota and ending what they describe as years of exclusion. Samuel Yebo Adams, TV3 News, Accra.
More news this evening. Vice President Professor Jane Opoku-Agyeman is calling for a more modern, transparent and trusted tax system to improve revenue mobilization and expand the tax base. Speaking at the 14th Annual International Tax Conference in Accra, she highlighted ongoing VAT reforms, the digitization of tax administration and the need to bring more businesses in the informal economy into the tax net.
Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman said recent reforms, including changes to the value-added tax regime, are intended to simplify compliance and create a more balanced tax environment.
Expanding the tax base requires creating practical ways for more individuals and businesses to participate in the tax system, particularly within the informal economy. People are more willing to comply when they believe that the system is fair, when the rules are clear and consistently applied, when they can deal with the tax authorities without unnecessary difficulty, and when public resources are managed responsibly. The GRA must therefore continue improving taxpayer education, consultation, and service delivery.
The Vice President called for stronger cooperation among government, the Ghana Revenue Authority and tax professionals. Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesi Sapong, said the GRA is targeting an increase in annual domestic tax revenue from about 155 billion Ghana cedis in 2004 to 310 billion Ghana cedis by 2028, requiring sustained annual growth of at least 20%.
In 2027, we'll be looking at the revisions to our international treaties, so that over a 3-year period, you will see a reform of the legal taxes or the acts that really guides our taxation. And in all of this, Your Excellency, we are proud to know that we are not focusing on increasing the rate. We are looking at how to simplify the taxes and broaden the net so that Ghanaians can pay their taxes and will build the nation together.
Economic advisor to the President, Seth Tekpe, called for the continuous review of tax frameworks to keep pace with economic transformation. The 2-day 14th Annual International Tax Conference is expected to produce practical recommendations on tax administration, customs and international taxation, and the regulation of tax practitioners for consideration by government.
In more news tonight, a constitutionally reserved seat on Ghana's Council of State remains empty at a time the country is preparing to amend its constitution. More than 2 months after government promised a replacement of former Chief Justice Sophia Ekufu, President Mahama is yet to name one. Questions are emerging over whether the delay is merely procedural. There's more in this report by Noble Cosby Annan.
Justice Sophia Ekufu submitted a resignation from the Council of State in September 2025, although the presidency only publicly confirmed its acceptance in June this year. Government said at the time that processes were underway to replace her. But more than 2 months later, no replacement has been announced. Under Article 89 of the Constitution, the Council of State must include a person who has previously served as Chief Justice, appointed by the President in consultation with Parliament. The Council of State Act 2020 Act 1037 also provides that where a vacancy occurs, that vacancy shall be filled. The law, however, sets no specific deadline for the President to make that appointment, and Article 92 makes clear that the work of the Council is not invalid simply because there is a vacancy. So, the Council can legally continue operating. The question is, how long can this constitutionally designated seat remain vacant? At least 3 former Chief Justices currently fit the constitutional description: Georgina Theodora Wood, Kwesi Eniniabwa, and Gertrude Tokonu. Justice Tokonu may, however, be considered politically unlikely following her removal as Chief Justice under the Mahama administration. Legally, though, Article 89 does not distinguish between a former Chief Justice who retired from office and one who left under other circumstances. It simply requires someone who has previously held the office. But here is another possibility. The current Chief Justice, Paul Bafoboni, turns 70 in December, the mandatory retirement age for a Supreme Court Justice. Once he retires, he too would immediately satisfy the constitutional requirement of having previously served as Chief Justice. Is the President waiting for the current Chief Justice to retire before filling the vacancy? If that is the plan, another legal question emerges: whether keeping the position vacant until December, while other qualified former Chief Justices remain available, would be consistent with Act 1037's requirement that the vacancy shall be filled. From a political standpoint, Bafoboni would not be an unlikely choice. President Mahama nominated him as Chief Justice in 2025, and unlike the circumstances surrounding Gertrude Tokonu's departure, his relationship with the administration has not been marked by the same confrontation. But beyond the personalities, the timing of the vacancy is important. Ghana is entering a major constitutional amendment process. Government released its position on the Constitutional Review Committee's recommendations in July, while Attorney General Dominic Ayine says draft amendment bills are expected by October. Both the entrenched and non-entrenched amendment processes will involve the Council of State. That makes the absence of the former Chief Justice particularly significant. The Constitution deliberately provides for someone who has led the judiciary to sit on the Council, bringing judicial and constitutional experience to the President's advisory body. Yet, the Council could soon be advising on major changes to Ghana's constitution without that seat being occupied. For now, there is no constitutional crisis, and decisions of the Council remain valid. But the accountability question remains. Who will occupy the former Chief Justice's seat on the Council of State, and why has the President waited this long to fill it?
Let's go to the courts now. The Accra Circuit Court has remanded 49-year-old Nigerian Augustine Okechukwu Mazi into police custody for 2 weeks. The Nigerian suspect was arraigned before the court following a foiled robbery operation at Laboni, which led to the killing of 2 other suspects. Lord Eduasare reports.
Augustine Okechukwu Mazi has been charged with 8 counts of conspiracy to commit robbery for his alleged role in robbery attacks in Tema, Spintex, and Laboni, all in Accra. He has, however, pleaded not guilty. Per the prosecution's facts, Okechukwu and 5 others belong to a robbery syndicate that trails and robs their victims after bank transactions. They reportedly operate in Ivory Coast and Togo and had been under police surveillance since May 2026 when they attacked victims at Spintex. The police gunned down 2 suspects after an exchange of gunfire at Laboni on August 13 after foiling another robbery attack. 3 other suspects are at large. Lawyer for the accused prayed for bail, but it was refused after the prosecution indicated that he was a flight risk since he was staying in a hotel and that investigations are still underway, arguing that releasing him on bail would jeopardize the progress. The judge then remanded Augustine Ogachukwumazi into police custody after suggesting that the lawyers had not been able to demonstrate that the accused had a fixed place of abode. The accused person is to reappear on September 2. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
It's now time for the weather report, and this evening, cloudy conditions will continue to dominate across all sectors, producing slight rain or drizzle for some areas along the coastline and parts of the middle sector. Coming up, the forecast figures.
Weather News segment is brought to you by Syntex Tang.
You go like
committed to strengthening transparency and accountability in the management of Ghana's petroleum revenues. Our journey, however, has not been without challenges. The committee has had to adapt to these changing circumstances while remaining faithful to its statutory mandate.
Also speaking at the launch of PIAC at 15, economist at the University of Ghana, Professor Peter Korte, called for PIAC's oversight of oil revenues to be replicated in the management of other mineral resources to strengthen transparency and accountability.
For the past 15 years, we have highlighted where there are problems. There have been instances where oil money has been used judiciously. There have been instances where they say there is a project here, you go and the project is not there. We have highlighted all of that. As we saw, after this launch, we are going to have a comprehensive report on abandoned projects, on oil projects. We're going to track all of them over time. I think PIAC is doing very well.
Away from that, the equities market of the Ghana Stock Exchange has recorded a 73% year-to-date gain. Now, this places it among the strongest performing equity markets globally, while trading activity has also doubled compared with the same period last year.
Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Abinamwa, says the strong performance of the equities market reflects growing investor participation and renewed activity on Ghana's capital market. Speaking at the launch of the updated GSE Environmental, Social and Governance Manual, she said the equities index had closed 73% higher as of August 18, 2026, signaling increased investor confidence in the local market.
There's activity even on our primary issuance. We are attracting new companies onto the market. But it's not just that. We are also seeing that we are attracting new investors onto the market. As at yesterday, the GSE Equities Index closed up 73% year to date.
The updated GSE ESG Manual, also known as Sustainability Disclosure Manual, seeks to guide companies listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange to consistently disclose their environmental, social and governance practices, risks and performance, promoting greater transparency, accountability and informed investment decisions. Director of the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC, Dr. James Klucha-Veji, urged all listed companies to be transparent in their reporting.
I want to congratulate Ghana Stock Exchange for coming out with this manual to help all listed companies as they prepare to meet the compulsory disclosure requirement issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana. Let us commit today to reporting with integrity, clarity, and courage.
We'll end the segment with updates from the forex and commodities markets. I am Minu Aful.
at 4 points.
Insecticide spray and quad.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Reku Ampofo. Let's start off from the camp of the Black Princesses, who are currently preparing for the 2026 Under-20 Women's World Cup in Poland. The team has intensified preparations ahead of their opening game against Ecuador on September 6th. Ahead of Ghana's first game, head coach of the side, Charles Sampson, says the goal of the team is to make it out of the group stages.
The expectation is very high, not only with me, but even with the players too. We know the history behind the U20 women. We know that this is the 8th time we are going to the World Cup. We also know that we have not been able to advance from the group stages. So that has been the first goal. We'll make sure that we'll even extend it. But first of all, that is our first goal, to go through the group stages.
Let's now do some transfer news where Ghana midfielder Elisha Owusu has officially completed his transfer from French club AJ Auxerre to Turkish Super League side Erzurumspor. The 28-year-old midfielder has signed for the newly promoted Turkish outfit on a permanent deal, bringing an end to his 3.5-year spell with Auxerre. In Europe, Manchester United are in advanced talks to sign Carlos Baleba from Brighton. The Red Devils are confident of agreeing a deal for a fee around £75 million. The 22-year-old was heavily courted by the Red Devils last season, but a deal never came to fruition as Brighton valued him over £100 million. Meanwhile, Arsenal have agreed a deal worth more than £50 million to sign Aston Villa defender Ezri Konsa. The England international is set to have a medical before completing his move to the Emirates ahead of the start of the new season. Elsewhere, Netherlands midfielder Tijani Reinders has completed a £52 million move to Saudi Arabian side Al Qadsiya from Manchester City. The 28-year-old only joined City last summer in a £46.5 million move from AC Milan. Still on some transfer news, and new Girona signing Abdul Mumin has opened up on the reason why he joined the second-tier club Girona. The Black Stars defender says that he was swayed by the team's style of play and ambition.
The main thing that attracted me to Girona, I think, is the club itself, Girona. I think it's a club with a lot of history. And over the past years, the type of football they play is very attractive, and I believe that all footballers that wants to improve in their professional career, it's a project that they'll look up to.
You can get more transfer updates on our social media handles at WeSportsGH. My name is Oreko Ampofo, and entertainment news is up next.
Bro, are you booking a vacation or what? How to be millionaire? Masama.
has been appointed Ghana's investment and tourism envoy to Turkey. Ejiani announced the appointment on Instagram, saying she has officially started work in her new role, and she described the appointment as a great honor and responsibility to serve Ghana. She said she will use her experience, relationships, and resources to help create opportunities for Ghanaians. Her work will focus on attracting investment, promoting Ghana's tourism potential, and building stronger partnerships between Ghana and Turkey. Ejiani also highlighted the creative industry. She said Ghana's music, film, fashion, arts, and other creative talents can help promote the country while creating jobs and investment opportunities. Ejiani said she is ready to listen, learn, and work with others to deliver results. Huge congratulations going out to her. And on to some more stories. 5-time Grammy Award winner Angelique Kidjo has made history as the first Black African performer to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Benin-born music icon was honored on Tuesday, August 18, 2026, at a ceremony in Los Angeles, where she unveiled the star in the recording category. The honor makes her the first African musician and first Black African artist to receive a star on the world-famous landmark. Her star is the 2,854th on the famous Los Angeles sidewalk. For Kidjo,
which language we speak, which skin color we have, we are human. It's one human family. I don't believe in any other person telling me otherwise. The skin color is just...
Looks like today there's a lot of congratulations that are in order. Well, that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you so much, Noella. On the international front, as campaigning for January's elections begin on Wednesday, President Bola Tinubu's pitch for a second term faces a politically fraught question. Are Nigerians better off after more than a decade of rule by his all-progressive Congress? The answer could shape the presidential contest against former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, who have built their appeal on widespread frustration over economic hardship and insecurity. The main challengers argue the APC's nearly 12 years in power have left Africa's most populous country poorer, more indebted, and no safer than when the party swept into office in 2015, then under the leadership of Buhari.
A lot is happening in Nigeria. Trust us to keep you posted when that election campaign takes off in neighboring Nigeria. Elsewhere around the world, Ukrainian lawmakers have appointed a new defense minister hours after his ousted predecessor dealt a major blow to President Volodymyr Zelensky with a call for elections in wartime. A former top special forces operative takes up the critical defense portfolio amid fresh political turmoil for the president, who had faced weeks of protest over his dismissal of 35-year-old reformer Mikhailo Fedorov. And on the back of that, we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you so much for spending the last hour with us. My name is Martin Esiedudate.
And I am Portia Gabodu. Join Alfredo Kansa at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.